Good day, everyone. Today, we'll be presenting the country that we have chosen, which is Haiti. Overview, Introduction, Objectives, Colonial History, Socioeconomic Challenges, Cultural Impact, and Conclusion. Introduction. Haiti is a country located in the Caribbean Sea, occupying the western third of the island of Hispaniola, which it shares with the Dominican Republic. The nation also includes smaller islands such as Gonave, Torso, Grande Cay, and Vasha, and the capital city, which is the Port-au-Prince. Haiti's population is predominantly descended from enslaved African people. The country gained independence from France in 1804, becoming the second nation in the Americas after the United States to achieve freedom from colonial rule. Despite its early independence, Haiti has faced persistent economic, political, and social challenges compounded by natural disasters, leading to chronic poverty and other significant issues. At the end of the discussion, students are expected to determine the colonial history of Haiti, to identify the socio-economic challenges of Haiti, and to know the cultural impact during the colonization period. Colonial history. First is the Spanish colonization. 1492, Christopher Columbus arrived on the island, which he named Isla Española. The Spanish initially colonized the entire island, establishing settlements and exploiting indigenous Taino people through forced labor. Diseases brought by Europeans and harsh working conditions led to the near extinctions of the indigenous population within decades. The Spanish introduced African slavery to supplement the labor force for mining and agriculture. Next is the French colonization. 1697, under the Treaty of Ryswick, Spain officially ceded the western part of Hispaniola to France, which became known as Saint Domingue. This colony developed into the wealthiest in the Caribbean, producing sugar, coffee, and other goods. Saint Domingue's economy relied heavily on African slavery, with enslaved people making up the majority of the population. Conditions were brutal, leading to frequent slave revolts. On January 1, 1804, Haiti declared independence from France, becoming the first post-colonial independent nation led by formerly enslaved people and the first black republic in the world. Haiti's colonial history involves both Spanish and French domination, with colonization ending in 1804 following a successful revolution.
And now let's move on to the socio-economic challenges that faces of the country of Haiti. The first issue is extreme poverty and economic instability. Around 60% of the Haitians live below the poverty line, with many relying on subsistence farming or informal work. The economy is heavily dependent on remittances from abroad and foreign aid. The plantation economy under French rule was designed for extractions, benefiting the metropole while neglecting local infrastructure or sustainable development. After independence, the new state inherited a weak economic base with limited domestic industries or wealth circulation. Second issue is the political instability and weak institutions. Haiti has experienced chronic political unrest, frequent leadership changes, corruption, and governance issues, with political factions often vying for control. The assassination of President Jovenel Moise in 2021 worsened the political crisis. The French colonial administration relied on authoritarian control and repression to maintain order. After independence, Haiti faced international isolation and internal struggles, including military-led governments and dictatorships, setting a pattern of instability. The foreign debt Haiti was forced to pay France further weakened the state's ability to build stable institutions. The third issue is the environmental degradation and vulnerability to natural disasters. Deforestation, soil erosion, and the impact of climate change has made Haiti vulnerable to hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes. Deforestation was worsened the impact of disasters by reducing the land's resilience. During colonization, the French exploited the land through monoculture plantation for sugar, coffee, and cotton, leading to significant deforestation. After independence, the need to meet external debt payments encouraged unsustainable farming and logging, further degrading the environment. Fourth, widespread inequality and lack of basic services. Access to healthcare, education, and clean water is limited. Many rural areas are marginalized, and services are concentrated in urban centers like Port-au-Prince. During the colonial period, resources were concentrated in the hands rather of the white and mulatto elite, while the enslaved African population was denied education and healthcare. After independence, this unequal social structure persisted, with power remaining in the hands of a small elite. The rural majority, many of whom are descendants of enslaved people, continue to face marginalization. And the last, Haiti is heavily reliant on international aid and loans, creating, creating a cycle of foreign dependence. This dependency undermines long-term economic autonomy. In 1825, France demanded 150 million gold francs in reparation to compensate French slaveholders for their losses. Haiti took out loans to meet these demands, plunging the young nation into debt. This debt burden persisted for over a century, stunting economic development and fostering reliance on external sources.
Cultural impact. Language. During French colonization, French became the official language of the colony and remains the primary language used in the government, education, and official documents today. Religion. Colonization imposed the Catholicism as dominant religion, which remained the largest religious affiliation in Haiti. The French used Catholicism as a tool to control the population, and convention was often forced among the enslaved population. Art, music, and dance. Haitian culture is a fusion African, French, and indigenous influence. Enslaved Africans brought traditional form the music, dance, and art that merged with elements from French culture. Cultural impact. Socio-economic structure. The Spanish established an application economy on the island, which relied heavily on the forced labor of the Tiano and later African self. Racial identity under resistance. The Haitian Revolution forced a strong national identity centered around blackness and resistance to white and colonial rules. Them. Conclusion. Haiti's colonial history began the arrival of Christopher Columbus in 1492, when the island of Hispaniola was claimed for Spain. The indigenous Taino and Siboney population were quickly disseminated by European diseases and harsh labor conditions as they were forced to mine for gold. By the late 16th century, this native population had largely vanished, and the Spanish began importing African slaves to replace them. In 1697, the Treaty of Ricci formally ceded the western third of Hispaniola to France, which named it Saint Domingue. The colony became France's most prosperous New World possessions, primarily due to its sugar production, which relied heavily on enslaved African labor. By 1789, the population of Saint Domingue included approximately 500,000 enslaved Africans, 32,000 European colonists, and 24,000 Apache or free people of mixed African and European descent. The Haitian Revolution, a series of conflicts from 1791 to 1804, was a pivotal period in Haiti's colonial history. It was driven by the Afrachi's frustrations with racial discriminations, the influence of the French Revolution, and the brutal condition faced by enslaved people. Key figures like Toussaint Louverture and Jacques Dessalines played significant roles in struggle against French colonial rule. The revolution ultimately led to the abolition of slavery and Haiti's independence in 1804, making it the first independent nation in Latin America and Caribbean and the first post-colonial independent black-led nation in the world.